Eastern Caribbean, VON Radio, from the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis.
From the VON Newsline, this is the VON Major Newscast.
Good evening. I am Tashan Tyson in with you in Major News Package for today, Monday 22nd April 2019. In our lead stories, nationally, Taiwan to participate for the first time in St. Kitts Agriculture Open Day, and attractive prizes for British High Commission British Airways photo competition. Regionally, pilot dies in plane crash in Dominica. Internationally, international network linked to bombings in Sri Lanka. And in sports, Jamaicans cup senior Carifta 100-meter titles. We'll have the details of these and other stories after this message.
Another look.
Different from how you've seen it before.
Another look.
Takes an in-depth look into business, politics, science, technology, religion, and more.
Another look.
Featuring documentaries from the BBC, regional features, and local ones too.
Another look.
Every Monday at 3 p.m. on the Eastern Caribbean's powerhouse.
Wow.
Welcome back. Another national news in detail. Entrusted by the Ministry of Foreign Affairs, Republic of China, Taiwan, the Taiwan External Trade Development Council, TITRA, is pleased to announce Taiwan's first ever participation in Agriculture Open Day St. Kitts 2019, taking place at La Guerite, April 25th to 26th. During the Agriculture Open Day, the Taiwan Pavilion will display Taiwan Excellence Award-winning products, gardening and quick coupling products manufactured by Taiwanese companies, and the Taiwan Technical Missions Project Exhibition. TITRA will promote mutual exchange and collaboration between Taiwan and St. Kitts and Nevis throughout the two-day event. TITRA also provides export consulting services for St. Kitts and Nevis companies. St. Kitts and Nevis and neighboring countries are potential markets for Taiwan. Taiwan's agricultural technology and machinery equipment are well known worldwide for its high quality and competitive prices. The event is an excellent platform for Taiwanese enterprises to display their premium products and meet potential buyers and partners for possible business cooperation. Nationals of St. Kitts and Nevis have been invited to participate in a photo competition organized by the British High Commission Bridgetown and sponsored by British Airways. Persons are required to send their best photographic entries capturing or recreating their favorite British moments. Photographs should explore the themes of British culture, art, education, sport and business, visually depicting what the UK means to you. All photographs must be submitted in full color, be of high resolution, be in JPEG format, and be no less than 2 megabytes or exceed 15 megabytes. Photographs must be the work of the entrant and captured by the entrant. Third-party photographs or images entered in previous competitions are not permitted. Entrants must like and follow the British High Commission Bridgetown or Facebook at UK in Barbados and on Instagram at UK in Caribbean. Entries should be emailed to britishsummercompetition@gmail.com along with your full name, contact information, and the short photo caption about your image no later than April 30th, 2019. British Airways agrees to provide the winner of this competition with 2 World Traveller Economy tickets, free of cost, covering travel to and from London. Winners will be contacted via telephone and email within 1 week of the draw date. The prize awarded for this competition is non-exchangeable and must be redeemed for use with the specified travel period. Nationals of St. Kitts and Nevis who are furthering their education at various universities in the Republic of China, Taiwan, have expressed their appreciation to Prime Minister Dr. Timothy Harris and his Team Unity administration for their work in strengthening the ties between the Twin Island Federation and Taiwan. Last week, Prime Minister Harris met with a group of Kittitian and Nevisian students at the St. Kitts and Nevis Embassy in Taiwan as part of his official visit to the country. He was accompanied by Minister of Public Infrastructure, Venerable Ian Patches Liburd, St. Kitts and Nevis Ambassador to the Republic of China, Taiwan, Her Excellency Jasmine Huggins, and other members of the St. Kitts Nevis delegation. The meeting with the students came on the heels of the ceremony at the Presidential Office Plaza, where PM Harris was conferred the Order of Propitious Clouds with the Special Grand Garden by the President of the Republic of China, Taiwan, Her Excellency Dr. Chai Ing-wen, for his work in fostering stronger ties between both countries. Dr. Harris also used the opportunity to update the students of the developments currently taking place back home in St. Kitts and Nevis. 3 categories of workers of the Solid Waste Management Corporation SWMC in St. Kitts will receive a salary increase. So says Minister with responsibility for the SWMC, Venerable Eugene Hamilton. In spite of being announced just last week, it is understood that the increase for workers is retroactive from April 1st, 2019, which means workers will see an increase in their salaries from the time they worked for on April 1st to the day in which salaries are paid. The 3 categories of workers are truck drivers, landfill workers, and drain sweepers. The minister disclosed that the increase will benefit some 65 workers. The minister said he made the recommendation to the board and the management of the SWMC to adjust the wages of 3 categories of workers after what he called walking a mile in their shoes. Permanent Secretary with responsibility for immigration here in St. Kitts and Nevis, Mr. Osmond Petty, is categorically denying that a contract has been signed with Night Watch Security Services for Immigration Enforcement Services. Mr. Petty was responding to what is said to be a malicious message being circulated on social media, claiming that Night Watch Security Services was granted an immigration enforcement contract by the Immigration Department, allegedly estimated at $1 million per year. Night Watch Security Services is a registered private family company owned by a young businessman, Mr. Heston Ham. Mr. Petty is quoted as saying that this is false and that I am not aware of any contract between the Ministry with responsibility for immigration and Mr. Heston Ham or any other entity, Mr. Petty said. Mr. Osmond Petty further stated that all official contracts with the ministry responsible for immigration are signed by the Permanent Secretary. I have signed no such contract. Hence, I can definitely say that no such contract exists. Mr. Ham is a national of St. Kitts and Nevis who has had training in the security forces and served for several years in the Royal Anguilla Police Force. He has owned Night Watch Security Services for over a decade. The author of the malicious message alleges that the company is co-owned by Mr. Lenworth Harris. 3 males are currently in police custody in connection to an armed robbery. The 3 were arrested and charged on April 19th and 20th respectively for the offenses of armed robbery. Charged are 23-year-old Estevan Lawrence of Stapleton Village, 18-year-old Elandri Connor of Nevison Street East, and a juvenile of Shadwell. The incident to which they are charged took place on April 16, 2019 in Upper Monkey Hill, St. Kitts. Police on St. Kitts are investigating an armed robbery that occurred in Old Road. The incident is reported to have occurred on Friday, 19 April 2019. Investigations so far have revealed that at approximately 7:20 p.m., 3 masked men entered a supermarket, confronted a cashier with what appeared to be firearms and demanded money. They took a sum of cash from the cash register before fleeing the scene. No one was injured during the incident. Investigations into the matter are ongoing. Persons with information about this incident are asked to contact the Criminal Investigation Department, their nearest police station, or the crime hotline at 707. Police formally charged Elmoth Rollins of Hermitage Road, Old Road, with 2 warrants on April 18, 2019. Rollins was charged with the offenses of attempted murder and wounding with intent for an incident that took place on April 15, 2019 at his home. According to police reports, at about 7 a.m. on Monday 15th April, Rollins was at his home when he heard someone enter his kitchen. He then fired a single gunshot with his licensed firearm in the direction of the person and, in the process, shot and injured in the neck Dejon Richardson of Buckley's, who had previously been doing electrical work on the premises with his stepfather. Richardson was transported to the JNF General Hospital and is presently warded in a critical condition. Rollins and his firearm were taken into police custody. Forensic pathologist Dr. Adrian Nunes Quintana performed an autopsy on the body of 39-year-old Ryan Richardson of Buxhill on April 16th. After completing the examination, Dr. Quintana determined that Richardson's cause of death was mechanic asphyxia due to hanging. According to a police communique, sometime after midday on a Sunday, 14 April, the body of Ryan Richardson of Buxhill, Jindal and Nevis was found by his brother hanging from a rope tied to the ceiling in his home. The district medical officer was summoned to the scene and pronounced him dead. That was Nevis's first recorded suicide for 2019. And finally, Junior Minister of Health in the Nevis Island Administration, the Honorable Hazel Brandy Williams, has addressed the island to mark Vaccination Week. Nevis joins the rest of the region in observance of the week, which runs from April 20th to 27th. Her address reads in part: during the week of April 20th to 27th, the Federation of St. Kitts and Nevis will join with the Pan-American Health Organization, PAHO, and the rest of the region in celebrating Vaccination Week in the Americas. The first observance of this week was in 2003, and now after 17 years of successful implementation throughout the PAHO member states, the region can celebrate a number of achievements. These include the vaccination of more than 740 million persons and the elimination of 6 diseases. These significant milestones represent extraordinary efforts by member states to advance equity and access to vaccination, strengthen national immunization programs, raise population awareness on the importance of immunization, and keep vaccines on the forefront of political agendas. The slogan this year is "Protect your community, do your part, #GetVax." This slogan was chosen as a firm call to action by the various countries and communities of the region. It serves as a reminder of the important role we play collectively in supporting vaccination and preventing the spread of deadly vaccine-preventable diseases, end quote. She noted in her address that the Federation has achieved a number of milestones over the years and includes the maintenance of approximately 97% average coverage of our children against diseases such as hepatitis B, polio, H. influenza, diphtheria, pertussis, tetanus, measles, mumps, and rubella. She also noted that since 1956, there have been no confirmed cases of poliomyelitis, and since 1984, no confirmed cases of measles or rubella in the Federation. That's the national news segment. You can visit our website at www.vonradio.com or check us out on Facebook at VON Radio or our Von Radio YouTube channel for these and other stories. News from across the region is next.
Ladies and gentlemen, this here's another one for the steppers.
Swipe to win big in 2019.
That's right, the Bank of Nevis Limited is once again giving you, our valued customers, a chance to win big. Just swipe or use your Bond Visa credit card for US $100 for a chance to win a cruise for two, an iPhone XS, or a grocery dash at Best Buy Supermarket.
Say what?
Sign up for a Bond Visa credit card and automatically be entered for a chance to win. This offer ends August 31st, 2019. So tell your friends and family, just swipe to win big with the Bank of Nevis. The Bank of Nevis Limited, improving the quality of life. Like us on Facebook or follow us on Instagram.
Welcome back. Another regional news in detail out of Dominica. Dominican News Online received confirmation that the pilot, who was the lone occupant of the Cessna aircraft which crashed in Dominica on Thursday morning, died in the crash. CEO of the Dominican Air and Seaport Authority, DASPA, Benoit Bordeaux, said that the plane, which was traveling from Martinique to Guadeloupe, crashed in a wooded area about 4.5 miles of west of the Douglas Charles Airport. Later reports placed the site of the crash in the Syndicate area. Bordeaux said French authorities had informed DASPA that they had lost contact with the small aircraft 6 miles off Douglas Charles Airport in Dominica and needed help from Dominica in locating it. Meantime, Trinidad's National Security Minister Stuart Young has explained why Mark Marie's Buju Banton's hotel room was searched on Saturday. Buju arrived in Trinidad and Tobago on April 19th to perform at a concert. Prior to Police Commissioner Gary Griffith's visit to Buju's room, Mr. Young issued a statement regarding the matter which stated, "This permission was granted after due consideration and also an appreciation of our CARICOM stance and commitments." According to the minister, he noted that the commissioner gave assurances that the police service will do all that it can to ensure that the remainder of Buju's visit is peaceful and incident-free. The chairman of LEAT, St. Vincent's Prime Minister, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves, has expressed fears that the closure of the regional island hopping carrier is imminent. That's because, he says, most of the countries which use the carrier services are not responding favorably to the airline's request for $5.4 million to ensure its survival. Countries, including the 4 major shareholders, Dominica, Antigua and Barbuda, Barbados, and St. Vincent and the Grenadines, along with Grenada, have agreed to contribute to the $5.4 million. Dominica is being asked to contribute $347,938 in light of its 25 weekly flights. St. Vincent and the Grenadines, with 52 departures per week, will contribute $723,711, while Grenada, which has 35 LEAT departures per week, is being asked to contribute $487,113. Barbados, which has 116 weekly departures, the highest by LEAT, is being asked to contribute $1.614 million, while Antigua and Barbuda, which has 69 departures, will contribute $960,310. They were asked to make the contribution in March, and the deadline was the 15th of that same month. However, the Vincentian leader said that so far, Grenada is the only government that acceded to LEAT's request by pumping approximately $1 million into the airline company. According to Dr. Gonsalves, due to the lack of financial input from the other shareholding countries, LEAT's closure is near. And finally, the Caribbean Court of Justice, CCJ, ordered the judicial manager of CLICO International Life Insurance Limited, CLICO, to recognize and pay a debt of over $1.4 million to 2 brothers who invested in several executive premium annuity policies to fund their retirement. Octavius John and Laurent John, who live in Dominica, must be paid within 10 days of Thursday's judgment. The CCJ made the order as it noted that the circumstances of the appellants were unique. and they should not have to wait in the same way as others seeking compensation following the insurance company's collapse. It said Clico ran into financial difficulties long after the policies of the John brothers had expired and was obligated to pay up. According to the CCJ, after much stalling by the Barbados-based Clico, the brothers were forced to resort to the High Court of Dominica to recover the funds due on surrendering the policies. In September 2010, they obtained default judgment against Clico in the sum of $1,423,329.46 plus interest. That's it for original stories. Stay with us for news from around the world. Welcome back, and now the international news in detail. A wave of bombings that killed 290 people in Sri Lanka on Sunday was carried out with the support of an international network, officials said. The government has blamed the little-known local jihadist group, National Tawhid Jamaat, although no one has yet admitted carrying out the bombings. Another 500 people were injured in the suicide attacks on churches and hotels. Police arrested 24 people in a series of raids, and the President's office declared a state of national emergency. Here is more in this BBC report.
The Press Secretary of the Cabinet suggested that a small, little-known radical Islamist group were linked to this somehow. They were thought to be behind the vandalization of some Buddhist statues last year, and it's also thought that they had international help this time around, simply because of the coordinated nature of the attack. I mean, it simply happened hours apart. But we also know that it's still very much an active situation here. Some 87 devices were detonated at one of the big bus stations here in Colombo.
Former Nissan boss Carlos Ghosn has been indicted by prosecutors in Japan on a fresh charge of aggravated breach of trust. It is the fourth charge brought against Mr. Ghosn and relates to the alleged misuse of company funds. The 65-year-old is in detention in Tokyo, and his lawyers have applied for bail. Mr. Ghosn, who denies any wrongdoing, has said the allegations are a result of a plot against him. His lawyer says he will now apply for bail.
I think it will be tomorrow. The prosecutors will reveal their position on the bail request. Probably tomorrow, I think. Our number one priority is to get him released as soon as possible, so we won't have to fight each detail separately.
And finally, the World Jewish Congress, WJC, has voiced outrage over a Polish town's ritual beating of a Judas status, which looks like a caricature Orthodox Jew. The Good Friday ritual in Pocznik, southeastern Poland, was filmed and posted by a Polish news website. Jews are deeply disturbed by this ghastly revival of medieval anti-Semitism that led to unimaginable violence and suffering, the WJC said. The BBC's Danny Eberhard reports.
Video footage shows a crude sackcloth Judas stuffed with straw, with a large red nose, side locks and a black hat. The word traitor in Polish daubed on its front. The effigy is battered with sticks by groups of children as it's dragged through the streets before being burnt. The head of the World Jewish Congress, Robert Singer, called it a ghastly revival of medieval anti-Semitism. He's called on Poland's Roman Catholic Church to counter the prejudices the ceremony displayed, which he said were a blot on the country's good name.
That brings us to the end of our news segments. The latest in sports is next.
Most of us spend the better part of each weekday at the workplace. So why not make your office environment the kind of setting that helps you function at your personal best by outfitting it with top quality furniture, high-end photocopiers, printers, versatile office supplies, and the latest technology. The friendly and knowledgeable staff at the TDC Business Center are happy to provide you with personalized service to help you create an office space that's the total package. TDC Business Center, providing solutions that work.
Welcome back, and now the sports in detail. In the Carifta Games, IAAF World Under-20 Sprint Double Champion Brianna Williams and World Under-20 Men's Leader Oblique Seville won the senior 100-meter gold medals on Saturday's first day of the 48th Carifta Games at Truman Bodden Complex in the Grand Cayman. Williams, who won the double in the Under-17 section last year on her way to winning the Austin Seeley Award for the Games' Most Outstanding Athlete, got off to her usual bullet start, took control of the race, and was never challenged before winning in 11.25 seconds. Trinidad and Tobago's Akila Lewis was second in 11.62 seconds, while Jamaica's Kemba Nelson won her first individual medal in national colors, taking the bronze in 11.68 seconds. The trio had led their preliminaries, Williams running 11.71 seconds, while Lewis and Nelson had to be separated with a thousandth of a second after both ran 11.84 seconds in the first semi-finals. Seville and teammate Ryan Robertson continued their duel, taking gold and silver respectively with 10.24 seconds to 10.37 seconds, while the Bahamas' Adrian Curry was third in 10.42 seconds. And finally, in IPL cricket, England batsman Johnny Bairstow fired an unbeaten 80 as Sunrisers Hyderabad beat Kolkata Knight Riders with 5 overs to spare in the Indian Premier League. Bairstow sealed victory with successive sixes of Indian spinner Piyush Chawla. The 29-year-old Yorkshireman has scored 445 runs in 9 IPL innings this season at an average of 63. He and David Warner shared 131, the first time an opening pair has made 4 century stands in a 2020 season. Warner, who was out for 67 in the 13th over, leads this season's IPL run-scoring list ahead of Bairstow with 517 in 9 innings, featuring 6 half-centuries and a highest of 100 not out, reaching 500 runs for his 5th consecutive IPL campaign. Sunrisers are 4th in the table, 2 points behind Mumbai Indians and Delhi Capitals, with the top 4 qualifying for the playoffs, while Knight Riders are 6th after their 5th successive defeat. Scores were as follows: Kolkata Knight Riders 159 for 8 of 20 overs. Sunrisers Hyderabad 161 for 1 of 15 overs. That's it for sports. The general weather forecast is next. Welcome back. And now the local weather forecast for St. Kitts and Nevis. There will be mainly fair and cool conditions tonight. Winds are east to northeast at 11 to 22 kilometers per hour or 6 to 12 knots with lighter spells overnight. Seas are 1.5 to 2.1 meters or 5 to 7 feet. Small craft operators should continue to exercise caution. Sunrise tomorrow will be at 5:50 a.m. And that's how we wrap up the major news package for Day, Monday, 22nd April 2019. Before we go, let's take a look at the headlines once again. Nationally, Taiwan to participate for the first time in St. Kitts Agriculture Open Day. And attractive prices for British High Commission British Airways photo competition. Regionally, pilot dies in plane crash in Dominica. Internationally, international network linked to bombings in Sri Lanka. And in sports, Jamaicans Cup Senior Curve the 100-meter titles. On behalf of the rest of the news team, I am Tashan Tyson, wishing you a pleasant evening.